All right, Samantha, let's take a look at your paper. What I'm going to do first, hold on. Yep, it's working. Okay, I want to make sure my microphone was working. I'm going to check out the MLA format. Your title is good. This is good. This is not actually in Times New Roman size 12. This is in Arial, which, yep, right there, Arial 11. You need to make sure that's in Times New Roman 12. And then as we get down, I don't see any in-text citations. And as we're going to go through, there's a lot of, there's quite a few problems with how you introduce quotes, and you need to be aware of that. And then we get to your works cited. One, this should be works, plural, and this should be capitalized, and this should be at the top right up here, centered. And you have none of your sources that you used in your works cited. So again, I'm going to type in Purdue OWL, MLA works cited. And a lot of the stuff that you're doing is electronic sources. When you put it in your works cited page, this will only show some of it. You need to look at this to have at the end of your paper. Because on a technicality, and this is your first time learning it, so I'm not knocking you down for it at the moment, but as you move on into English 11 next year, this is technically plagiarism, which is not good, and you're going to learn more about it next year, but you really need to take this skill and improve it next year. So be aware of that, because you totally missed that in your paper. So, Samantha, what I'm going to do is I don't know if I'm going to cover your whole paper. I'm going to get through as much as I can, but I'm seeing a lot of the same things. I think what might work better is if I take parts of your paper, rewrite them, and tweak them a little bit and show you what's going on. So let's take your introduction, and we're going to take this into Microsoft Word to look at how I would redo your introduction. Because Samantha, the biggest thing I'm noticing is you have some MLA issues where you're not adding context or providing where you get certain things from, and your grammar and writing style needs to be improved. So if you look at this, let's take a look at this. Depression and anxiety have dramatically increased from now into the past. So you have a random capitalization here that doesn't need to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this grammatically and then retweak something so you can see what I'm doing. And I hope by you seeing me how I'm rewriting parts of your paper, you can take what I'm doing and apply it to other places. So we're going to start with depression and anxiety have dramatically increased, which is a great place to start. Have dramatically increased since the past. That is just fine, because increased from now into the past seems a little bit weird, because you're saying, oh, it's increased in the past based on where we are now. And then you have the topic is more discussed and a less taboo subject. Instead, try saying nowadays the topic is more discussed and is less of a taboo subject. And here's kind of the trick for introductions. If you put this in a body paragraph, I would challenge you really hardcore to be like, you need a source to back you up. The introduction gives you some leeway for it, to add some stuff that you don't necessarily need cited. Okay? And you have it right next. Having these illnesses was not very common in the past, and when it was occurring, it wasn't widely discussed. Now there's a lot more ways to publicize these issues and make them known. So right here you have two things. One, you don't need a comma here. It becomes a comma splice. And what I would say to do, what I noticed with your writing, and Samantha, I mean this, and I hope to God you listen to me on this one. Read your paper out loud. And I've told you this before. You come from a particular place, as do I, where probably how you speak on a day-to-day basis doesn't always translate into an academic paper. So read it out loud very slowly and calmly. And when you hear yourself saying, hey, I would stop the sentence or take a pause, you need to end your sentence there. So, with that in mind, you also have a contraction. You don't want the contraction there. So let's retweak this. Having these illnesses was not very common in the past and was not, I'm going to stop, and was not widely discussed when it did occur. So I think that's phrased a little bit better. It's not so bad the first way you have it, but I'm just retweaking it to maybe a little bit of more my style. And now then you can say, in today's society, there are a number of ways to publicize these issues and make them more well known. Okay, so we're going from here. There's more ways to publicize this, make it more well known, etc. And then you can get into what you have: social media, relationships, childhood, and life expectations are major. And you want to get rid of the word things and big or bigs. Well, thing and big from your vernacular when you're writing academic papers. And life expectations are major, let's say concepts. Nope, let's say contributions that have caused these illnesses to increase. And I wouldn't add the become known, because the point of your paper is that it's increased. And then all of these are some big reasons why it's changed so dramatically. Because you already have this previously, you don't need it. So you can pause your video and look at this if you would like. But essentially, this is all what you've put, just with some retweaked words. And this is going to be a much more effective introduction. So what I think you need to focus on is look at your punctuation when to stop sentences. Look at your capitalization and some other grammar things. And look at repetition. Okay? So as we move on, I'm going to pull this paragraph now, and we're gonna keep text only. All right, kids, teens, adults, etc. are constantly seeing these bodies, items, and things online that they want and wish they had. This starts a cycle of continuous thought in a person's head, asking why you can't look like that, why you don't have that, and why they have more followers and friends than you do. And this is the wrong than. You need an. Makes a person sad and anxious, and it's hard to come back from that. Before the advent of social media, one couldn't see the hourglass-bodied girl from Brazil when you live in America. You didn't see all the fancy things that a person you don't know has. Social media is a direct pathway to finding things that will bring you down and make you feel things that you shouldn't. Many articles say that social media rots the brain. You constantly see things that are toxic. That cause the illness is of depression and anxiety. That's a little bit awkward. These are very serious illnesses. Having social media to broadcast things all around the world severely affect those who suffer with them. So you need stronger topic sentences as well. So your topic sentences are going to be the sentences that set up what your paper is about. And this basically to me says, social media, nope, we're going to do this. Because you want this to be attributed to the rise of anxiety and depression, we're going to start with social media is one of the contributing factors to increases in depression and anxiety. And then I'm going to put a little bit what you had before. Social media allows individuals, instead of saying kids, teens, adults, etc., just say individuals or people, to see a multitude of images. You know what? This is the one time I think things will work. A multitude of, because it's so generic, but otherwise where you had it before it wasn't as generic. Multitude of things that they want and wish they had. Okay, so what we did is we got rid of this part and added a better topic sentence to what you have. Let's see. And this right here is all about comparisons. Right here, if we look at this part of your essay, Samantha, we could say these sites cause individuals to start comparing themselves to what they see online. And then I'm going to put a colon. These, and this is a good word, these disparities or differences can cause an increase, in someone being sad or anxious, okay? And then it's hard to come back from that is a little bit hard to, it's a little bit too jargony. So we're going to get rid of that. Before the advent of social media, blah, blah, blah. So this, what I'm going to say instead for you is before the advent of social media, one could not see things as instantly. I think that's true. Magazines and newspapers and television, you couldn't see it as instantly. And then social media has direct pathway to finding things that will bring you down and make you feel things that you shouldn't. The first part is okay, but I think just saying social media is a direct and quick pathway to finding more content, maybe, I guess. And then you have many articles say that social media rots the brain. So for this sort of thing, you need a specific resource. So we could say, like, let's say this is from John Hall's article, Depression in Teens states that, I cannot type today, that social media rots the brain. Because I know this is your writing, but you need to have something that maybe is a direct quote at this point, and then end with something. I think how you have it ended here is okay. These are very serious illnesses. Having social media to broadcast things all around the world severely affect those who suffer with these illnesses and create a lot more opportunity for people to be susceptible to such illness. This is a better way. So, pause the video and look at what I did in like 10 seconds. This is essentially what you did, just retweaking some of your things and looking at how you can incorporate a specific article with the quote where you build everything up. Here's this, and then here's this. Okay? So Samantha, as we go through the rest of your paper, here's what I'm going to tell you. I am not, this is hard to say. So I've already spent 12 and a half minutes. I have 15 going over the first two things. I would rather spend more time talking about your paper one-on-one. And I think that will help more. Because I think you have some really good ideas here, but you've got some grammar issues all over the place. Like, look at this random spacing. You've got homophone issues. You still have contractions. And you don't have any research to back yourself up with a lot of these. So this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you back your rubric as a rough version of what I am grading you on right now. And Samantha, I mean this in the nicest way. Not that it's mean, but this is what I see from your writing all the time. You have really good ideas, and I think you bring a unique perspective into things. But sometimes that gets overshadowed because it's not as organized as it could be. And you've got some grammar issues that I don't think you're double checking. So I think what I would like to do is spend some time one-on-one with you where I can sit down with you and go over some of the things. Because if we look at here, studies show that in the last 15 years, the rate of depression and anxiety has significantly increased due to change, missing a word, and how people feel about themselves due to their social status and how they're seen. So that's really good. Back to social expectations have risen. Excuse me. So you have some good ideas. I think you just need help retweaking it and reorganizing it with you. And I think we can work together to make this better. So I would highly encourage you to do the rewrite, and I would be more than happy to help you with it. And then overall, I just want you to hear this in case you're talking to people afterwards. I don't feel like I got to go over much of your paper with you, but it's only 15 minutes to do whatever. And this sort of thing of going over your rewriting, I think is more beneficial for you to see now. So instead of going over through the same things, because some of the things I pointed out with the research and everything is true for the rest of the paragraphs. So please let me know how I can help. And then I guess you can have a focus pass if we actually work. Okay. Let me know.